How you doing today? You good?
I'm with
Yeah, really good. I watched the film earlier. I thought it was really great. I'm anything with like robots that have like a heart. I love all that sort of stuff.
Nice. I'm glad you liked it.
That's my niche. I'm going to begin because I haven't got too long today, of course, just by asking you really just what it was about this project, about this character that really attracted you, that made you want to get involved with Zone 414.
So I got the script from the director Andrew, and I talked to Brian, the writer, and I just loved how Jane is an android, and she's struggling to understand if she's a human because she's feeling. She has feelings, and she feels, pain and love, and that's what really resonated with me. How we're so close to that to that social android world where everyone is so disconnected, and yet again we're humans. And how in the film humans are dehumanized. So I love that contrast, and I feel it's very real and very close to what we're living in some way.
Yeah, Jane sort of manages to be the heartbeat of the movie, which is quite ironic considering she doesn't have one herself. Was that something that just came off the page then, just that the kind of humanity within the character?
No, I think it was always there in a way. Like she was always supposed to be very human, and that's why we with the team, the costume and hair and makeup, we tried to balance the artificial look with the wig that looked like a wig, not like a real, not like real hair, and using like really flashy colors. And then at the same time, like really have a range of emotions that are very human.
Yeah, because I was going to say, when you kind of play an android, I mean, because I guess your job as an actress is always to find the humanity in the characters that you play. Is it a slightly different process when tasked with a character who lacks that sense of humanity? I mean, even though she has got a lot of it, she still isn't completely a human. So I guess, is your process, is it as much about withholding emotion as it is as accessing it, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, it was. And actually, it was really the opposite in this sense, because I was trying to look to dehumanize what she was feeling on paper, if that makes sense. So to try to find moves and ways that she could feel more robotic, even though she was feeling certain emotions. So for example, like when she, is turned off by Jonathan Harris, and he pushes the button, like how did I, like that was kind of like, how would an android stop, like how would the motor stop that? So it was more like finding the robotic and the android feels to Jane than to find the emotions.
Yeah. Can you ever envisage android or robots ever reaching an advanced stage within our lifetimes? I mean, already they are, there's still machinery out there, but do you think that we might ever see anything that even gets close to like some of the robots we get to see in movies?
I know when I started researching for Jane and for references and for her looks, and I found all these influencers on Instagram that are actually like accounts, but they're actually digital, and they're represented by agents, real agents, and they make real money, but they're fake. Like they don't really exist, but they sing, and that to me was like really scary in a way. Like how we got to a certain point where even like fake people are real people in a way, if that makes sense. So I think we are getting there, and it's kind of scary to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, as someone who's in the public eye, someone who is famous, you're in movies and stuff like that, you get kind of, people. I was interviewing an actor called Adrian Grenier the other day, and he said people pretend to be him online to get money off people and stuff like that. And now you've got deep fake technology, which is this ability, isn't it? That kind of where people can, I mean, there's videos of like Tom Cruise, but it's not Tom Cruise looking just like Tom Cruise. Yeah, as an actress, as someone famous, does that worry you at all, the kind of how rapidly technology is progressing, and how easy it is now for people to kind of be someone else in the sort of virtual world?
That's what's scary to me, you know, because also like I feel like we are overwhelmed by information and news, and sometimes exactly what you just said, like you don't even know if it's real news or not. So whenever you see something, you got to research if that thing you just read is real, or if that video you saw is real. So it is very scary. And I have social media, and but I also really consider myself old school in a way. So like I, for example, brought my son to school. He's just started, and they're using iPads, and to me it was like just like something that turned me down, you know. But I also realized that it's a different world. So in a way, I gotta like accept that side of it, but also we gotta be very careful.
Yeah, it's weird. I've got a friend who's got like a 3-year-old, and they know how to scroll with their fingers
Yeah.
on, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I was always just prodding buttons on our age. But you mentioned the kind of researching this character in the world of kind of robots and stuff like that. Is that one of the enjoyable parts of your job? Is that when you take on a project and you take on a role and you enter into these different worlds, you get to explore and learn about so many different things, just as yourself as Matilda?
Yeah, that's what I love the most about this job. Like you never stop learning. You can always learn about something, and doing research, you start reading books that you might never, buy if you didn't have that script coming. And for example, I didn't even know that existed already, like that type of artificial intelligence. So like I discovered so many things about that. So yes, I love that part of my job.
You mentioned the wigs as well. Did you get to keep any of those just as a souvenir?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept two of them.
That's
I
cute.
tried to keep
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
from my characters all the time, and I thought the wig was very iconic.
Yeah. No, that well, I was going to ask you that actually. Do you often take souvenirs from each project? Because I know some actors they like to take 1 or 2 things from every.
Yeah.
Well, with
Yeah.
that in mind, what did you take from Revenge, if you don't mind me asking?
Took the earrings.
Oh yeah.
That was like the necklace.
I was going to,
The
but
heart.
just quickly, not just because I mentioned Revenge. I mean, obviously, as with any actor or actress, you always look to certain projects or characters that really helped propel your career forward. Is that how you perceive Revenge? I mean, it was such a wonderful film, and you were so excellent in the movie as well. Would you reckon you'll always look back at that project as being one of the films that really worked as a kind of springboard for your career?
So it's hard to say in a way, because every project brings you to new people, and it's hard to say which one of the projects propelled you into different areas, and choices are very important. And it's hard. I think it's one of the hardest things to do, because you never know, once the movie's done, if it's doing well or not. But when you decide to do and get on board, you don't really know what happens. But Revenge is something that is in my heart for sure, because it's a film that we shot in very, very difficult situations with no money in Morocco. It was freezing at some point. It was really hot at other points. So physically, it was really hard as a performance. I had a very good relationship with Coralie, the director. We are very good friends, so we talk all the time, and we see each other every time we're in the same city. So it's something that I have very close to my heart, because I also just discovered in that role as well very deep things that I bring with me.
Yeah, and good food in Morocco as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So how was it working with Guy Pearce on this project? Because obviously you share so many scenes alongside Guy, and I'm interviewing him tomorrow, and he's an actor that always gives such committed performances. So it must be great to work with an actor of that nature.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be on this project as well, because I'm a very, very big fan, and I was not disappointed. He's an amazing actor, amazing partner on scene. He's just like, he was a teacher to me. He's got so much experience, and working with him, the director, it was his first film, so obviously less experience than Guy. And At some point, he was helping me on scenes. He was like really there and very just generous with acting and with the humanity that he has. So it was a blessing.
I remember obviously when Guy started off, you know, sort of when he was made the move from Australia over to America, made movies in the kind of 90s in Hollywood. It did feel like that time, you know, 20, 25 years ago, that you had to make the move to Hollywood. It was like a natural progression for any kind of performer, that you'd make films in your home nation and then you'd move to Hollywood. But the world is getting so much smaller now, and it feels like we're all connected in a new way. And is that the case for you? Do you feel like, I mean, do you harbor ambitions to go and make films in Hollywood and stuff, or are you quite happy and settled making stuff in Europe?
So I feel like it shifts, like what I want and what my dreams are and goals are, it constantly changes. So when I started, I had the dream of just working, you know, and having experience on set and putting to work what I had learned in school and what I was learning in workshops. And that was my goal then. And then now I have a feeling it's more about the character and the scripts and the people that I work with. So if it's something that it's going to challenge me, that's what I'm looking for now. So wherever that is, if it's Italy, France, the US, like that's my goal. So it's not really about the country, but it's more about the people and the project that I pick and decide to work on. It's true that in a way, if I compare it to Italy, the States has such a bigger quantity of projects compared to Italy, because Italy is not really considered a job unless you get to a certain point. It's hard to explain, but you know, we don't have a lot of drama schools. It's not like a cultural culture like cinema, and we used to be big, but right now it's not considered a job, you know. So it's hard to make it until you make it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that
so
does.
Wherever that is, like I started working in France after Revenge because I started having a connection with France and productions, and I got an agent. So, and I speak French, so I started working in French productions speaking French. So that's something that I really love to do as well. So everything that's a challenge for me, whether it's a language or a new character or, you know, a new director, it's what speaks to me.
Well, that leads me to my final question, because you spoke about what some of the things that speak to you are working with people that you just want to work with and want to collaborate with. Well, Michel Hazanavicius is obviously such a fantastic filmmaker, and I love all of his work. And now you've worked with him. Has that been shot now, the film you made?
Yeah, we just finished in July, and it was a great experience. I was the only non-French speaking French in the film. So it was exhausting at some point because my brain was just constantly translating and trying to speak a different language. But it was a great experience. I worked with an amazing cast. He's just amazingly talented. And, you know, France is one of the countries that was my dream to work in, like to work with. So I'm so happy, and I feel very lucky that I got to work with such a talented director.
Yeah, and it's got zombies in it, which is always good. Yeah, good. I can't wait for that. Yeah, Michel has taking on zombies. Well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Matilda. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you. And yeah, best of luck with all of your future ventures and projects.
Same for you.
Bye. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!